Welcome to the session titled How to Scale the Sales Development Process in the Digital World. Digital and digital experiences are reshaping, many parts of our personal as well as our professional lives. The B2C market continues to be transformed by companies such as Amazon, and I think they're in this holiday season, we'll see more than 50% of purchases being done online. But we've not seen the same occur on the B2B side of the house. And remember, our B2B customers, the people that we're trying to sell to, the people that we're trying to get first meetings with, are also B2C customers. And they've demonstrated through their purchasing behavior, through their wallet spend, that they like these types of experiences. So today's session is about how do we bring that type of B2C like experience to our B2B world? And specifically focusing on how do we do this for the sales development rep? Hi, I'm Bill Butler, CEO and co-founder of Journey Sales. Like sales, sports, and other parts of our life, we need to start strong, to finish strong. And very often the sales development rep is the person who's out there in the very beginning and doing a lot of that early client and customer engagement. And it's critical for us to make a strong first impression, to begin to educate and engage with the client, with information that's important to them. Things about their business, solutions that solve problems for them. In many cases, they're just looking to learn and benchmark themselves against others in the industry. And the more we can do this and the better we can do this, the more we create customers for life. There's a great definition out there. I guess I would say it's not a great definition, but it's probably one of the most common definitions of a sales development rep. And it says sales development is a phone-based team that identifies, connects with, and qualifies leads. When a lead is qualified, they then pass the qualified lead to a salesperson who then takes over for the rest of the sales process. And I'm okay with that definition if there's enough qualified leads out there. And if there are, then it's simply a function of continuing to turn over enough rocks, till they find active projects, and money in motion. But what happens if the customers are not responding back, not engaging with us? We're not hitting, those first meeting targets. I expect we all have plenty of targets to go after. So it's not a function of the quantity of targets. It's really about the quality of engagement. The fact that our customers are not responding back to us means that we're kind of missing the mark along the way here. So we're going to focus on, the middle word here in sales development and concentrate on what does development actually really mean here. When we have clients in that early awareness phase, they may not have an active project yet, but we know based on our own experiences that they have these problems and others are solving it ultimately with our solution. How do we engage with them and get them educated in a way that allows us to be able to develop them into higher qualified leads? So we'll talk about how the digital experience becomes an integral part into this process. So we started thinking about, this B2C like experience, and we know the companies out there that are doing this very successfully. But first and foremost, we have to ask us our questions. Can we do this? Is it possible to do this for the B2B world? And in fact, what does it take? What does this thing look like? What functions are required? And what's the role, of the sales development rep, in this type of experience? So if you look at the current state of the digital tools and techniques and processes that we've built for the SDR, there's a series of inbound and outbound programs, and very often we're partnering with others in the organization, such as marketing, to help us develop the right kind of outbound programs or inbound activities. Again, the goal here is to try to find that elusive money in motion. But again, what happens when we don't find that money in motion? How do we develop, these targets, these accounts in a way that makes sense to us? So when a customer is not ready to engage, what should our process be? Again, we can always ignore the client. We can always call, send emails and do a lot of the same processes over and over again. But is there a better way? Is there a more customer-centric way, to begin to engage with them? So we did some research here. We took a look at the market and said, let's divorce ourselves of the things we want on the sales side. Let's really focus on what the customers really want out of this and really understand what's important to them. In terms of how they want to get educated, again, we're probably all familiar with that statistic, 57%. Customers don't want to engage with sales reps till they're 57% through the process here. That other statistic, 6.8, we know there's 6.8 decision makers here. So, right off the bat, we know there's a lot of people involved and they don't want to engage with us early on. They want to self-educate. They want to learn. They want to learn at their own pace. They want to learn with all these sources of information that are out there. And believe there's a ton of it. And a lot of that information will cause confusion for our customers. So we're looking to try to control this in a way that makes our job, much more successful. We know they want reliable information. Again, reliable information often doesn't come from a vendor. It could be supported by a vendor in terms of things that we know, but they're looking for trusted sources, analysts and other thought leaders that, are creating information that they can use to help them make a decision here. In many cases, too, they want access, to subject matter experts, and subject matter experts can come in the form of existing customers that we have that have done it successfully, and these new prospects are interested in learning more about it. They could be, consultants in our organization. They could be partners that we work with. So subject matter experts can come in many forms and fashions, but in many cases they have to be and should be, the people that our prospects are looking forward to connecting with to learn more about it. And again, they often want to collaborate. They're not looking for full-blown, sales pitches. They're looking for ways to get educated, to learn, to clarify information, and to get themselves kind of up the, educational and engagement curve. We know they use content. Again, content continues to be kind of the, kind of primary source of delivering messaging and insight to our customers. But we also know they value the validation of that by people, being able to talk and collaborate with others in the industry that, face similar problems than they have. So can we make this connection work along the way here? So let's talk about, what we need to do to make this work. This really is about a thought leadership strategy. It's getting us away from pitching our product, talking about ourselves, and really getting it into a safer environment where our customers are beginning to talk about things in their industry and things that they've done to help them solve certain problems here. Now, again, we're not asking them to talk about anything. This is things that obviously center back and are focused on the solutions that we provide. But we're really leading with other types of information than us beginning to kind of pitch our product right now. And the way to do this, and the way to begin to do this at scale, is we have to begin to bring, that B2C-like experience to the B2B world. And this type of experience needs to include, information and content. Again, both trusted third-party content that might be independent of us, as also our stuff. So we want to be able to show enough information early on that we understand this too, and we have solutions around this that engage the client. But very often too, subject matter experts, again, being able to give, those prospects access to people that could be our existing customers and have solved this problem before, or subject matter experts that might have been involved in multiple situations that can add some level of skill set and expertise to the process. But also begin to build this around the way that our customers want to learn. So again, we know they want to self-educate. They want to work with their colleagues. And when they're ready and they're more educated, again, they'll reach out to us or we'll reach out to them. I think, as we know, part of the process is to try to develop, a more educated and warmer prospect. We know how difficult it is today to try to sell to cold prospects. And again, how do we enable the role of the SDR? And again, I think the SDRs can be thought leaders. They don't need to be as part of this process. It's important that I think they understand the business well enough so they can be, that kind of quarterback that's working together. But the real job of the SDR here is to get, more people into these communities, to engage and connect them together, to make sure they're on top of relevant information and good insights that, these prospects care about and want to learn more about. And obviously, at the end of the day here, the SDR is monitoring this process. They're looking at who's engaging and who's not, and they're beginning to engage with the more active people that are in these experiences. So just to give you a little bit about how we've been doing this, both with our customers, but also how we do this internally at our company. Uh, so we have this process called a community. So community is, a private digital experience which is designed to help these prospects learn, self-educate, and begin to understand some of the latest information and practices that are going on in their industry. Again, it goes beyond content. Again, it includes people that could be our customers and other thought leaders in the organization. Again, the role of the SDR here is to really help facilitate engagement, to drive a set of programs and activities that keeps this information fresh and keeps people engaging along the way here. And you see it crossing many different industries. In the pharmaceutical industry, there's organizations in every company that deals with regulatory affairs across all the different countries around the world here. Very complex set of regulations that change all the time. And imagine a community really helping organizations understand the latest ways to manage the regulatory affairs process across a company and across multiple countries around the world here. And you see the same thing with packaging in the consumer side. Packaging regulations can change by country to country, and having that community help to drive that practice is very powerful. If I'm in insurance and I'm selling property and casualty insurance to the construction industry, I'm not trying to sell you an insurance policy. I'm trying to get you to understand ways to minimize the risk in your industry, in the most cost-effective way. And again, I can sell you a policy, but I can also demonstrate to you through information and through collaboration with other people how we've been able to do this time and time again. Again, a very effective way to begin to engage people who really want to understand and learn more. And the same around health benefits. Again, a great example here because we're all part of this healthcare changes that we see going on in the market today. As a company level, many cases the CFOs are working at the forefront here of trying to bring quality healthcare to employees, but at a manageable cost. And again, we can learn from different methods and approaches and programs from other organizations to help do that. So again, these are examples of how communities are built, kind of the purpose around them, but again, ways that we can help engage with them to deliver, the right information to the right people at the right time. Setting up communities has to be straightforward. It has to be able to work into the day-to-day process. It has to be simple and powerful at the same time. So preparing a community shouldn't take very long. Again, we're really just setting up some content, getting people into these communities and beginning to get them to engage. Again, we build in a method every day, 5 to 10 minutes to be able to add more people, post comments, add more content, ways to try to continue to promote ideas and innovations. That's how engagement really works. And that's when people begin to pay attention and begin to learn and ultimately reach back and want to talk about this in more detail. That's really where the analysis comes in. The role of the SDR is to look across, many cases, hundreds of prospects that we may have in these communities and see who's beginning to pay attention, who's beginning to view content, who's collaborating into this space. Those are the ones that we're going to want to reach out to because, in effect, those are more educated prospects, and they're the ones that are going to be looking for some additional information and more willing to engage with us along the way here. So I appreciate your time today. Thank you for that. We hope you have at least a good understanding here of how digital can begin to impact the role of the SDR. And in effect, what we're really looking to do here is find better ways to engage with prospects and customers and leverage the resources around us, both content and people, to help make that process better. If people have any questions or comments about it, feel free to reach out to me through one of the channels here. Thanks.